be intentional about everything in life.
Okay. Our time is very precious, so we're not going to wait for everybody to get on board before we get going. So thank you all for joining in. Hi, Rosemary. Thanks for joining in. Thank you all for coming on board on this discussion, and I believe we're going to have a wonderful time this afternoon. It's quite a sensitive topic to be discussed, but I think some things need to be addressed sometimes, and we need to deal with certain things. Just as I said in my introductory video, on Be Intentional season 2, episode 1, we're going to talk about gaslighting. Hello, Kunedu Boating. Thank you for joining in. Hi, love. Kenneth Afford, thank you. You made this happen. Thank you very much. We're going to talk about gaslighting. Now, this is a term I came across recently, and not just came across, but I think I can confidently say I have experienced it in a relationship or in a work setting, let's say. And it was something that baffled me. I couldn't really tell from the beginning. And this made me think that after knowing what gaslighting is, I thought many of us may have experienced this, or we probably being the ones gaslighting people. So we may not realize it. So I thought, let's talk about this. Let's be intentional about this. And that is why I thought I would bring it on here for us to talk about it. And as I gaslighting, 1940 to I think 1944 film that was termed as Gaslight. And in this film, what happened was the husband kind of systematically manipulated his wife in order to gain more power. That was the purpose for doing that, to gain more power and to make her question her reality, what she calls reality, and accept what he calls or he refers to as reality. And this was something that slowly ate away at her ability to make judgments for herself. And many a times we may find ourselves in situations like that. Thank you, Amma Opondrie. Thank you, Abraham Madison, for joining. Oh, you guys are so lovely. Thank you for joining in. But whilst we are still going on, if anything I'm going to talk about, if it registers with you, if you know somebody who is being in the same situation, just click on the like button, share your views, share your ideas, contribute to this. Hello, Albie, the highly favored one is on board. Oh my days. Thank you, Mr. Sifwa, for joining in as well. And let's get going on this topic. So as I was saying, gaslighting, in this film that was called Gaslight, the husband was manipulating the woman. And sometimes when it comes to physical abuse, we are bound to be able to put a finger on physical abuse. You could see bruises, you could see a black eye, and you can easily tell that somebody is being abused. But when it comes to emotional abuse, when it comes to psychological abuse, it's a very difficult thing to put a finger on or to identify that is happening. Even the victims find it difficult to identify that they are being manipulated somehow. So gaslighting is basically a form of psychological abuse. For me, I see it as the highest form of manipulation, and it is done slowly and subtly, so slow that you who is the victim, or you who are the victim, those people who are the victims, don't realize how much they are being brainwashed, or they are being deceived. And in the end, what happens is it leads to eroding their sense of self-worth, their sense of security, their sense of trust in themselves, in other people around them, and all that. And what this does is, because it's done systematically and it's done slowly, you who is suffering, it's sometimes it begins with love. I mean, it begins with intentions. It begins with the person meaning well, meaning loving you, or the person being in a position of authority already. And so it's hard for you to realize that you are being manipulated. But what they do is, in the end, they bring you to that position where they get into your head. That is the exact description. They get into your head, and you then find yourself in that position where you're not able to make judgments for yourself. And this gaslighting can take place anywhere. You might find me talking about a man and a woman, a husband and a wife more often, because it has to do with relationship. But this happens in many settings that is not necessary, or that are not necessarily restricted to marriage couples. It can happen to people courting. It happens in the workplaces where your boss can manipulate you, or manipulate everyone, including his or her own superiors, and you could be suffering and you are not able to speak up. This form of manipulation is able to happen even in the church. And sometimes you hear us saying, oh, because it's God's work, I can't talk about it. But then, is it really God's work you're doing? Is it really God asking you to do it? This is a form of manipulation that happens in every relationship, in spite of whatever setting you find yourself in. And I would give you an example of my own story. As I said, I used to have a manager, and then what happened was that one minute she was all this lovey, nice, oh, fun, you are so good, and she does it. You are so good at what you do. You're fantastic. And then one minute, she said something to you. You know she said it. I was so sure she said what she said. But in another time, she goes like, oh, I didn't say that. Oh, no, why would I say that? Oh, no, why would I? And I had to, this continued for so long. And sometimes even when I've asked something, maybe let's say a one-to-one meeting we're supposed to have, and then she's going like, oh, I do things by the book. So I don't joke with my one-to-ones. I have to do it when it's time. Now, when she got busy, she didn't think she had to say, oh, because I'm busy, I'm not going to be able to do this one-to-one. She just kept quiet about it. She didn't do it. I just thought, am I not having a one-to-one? Because, mind you, it's scheduled in the calendar. And this is a typical example I'm giving, a very simple one. And so I just had to ask this manager, am I not having my one-to-one? Oh my God, friend, no, see how busy we are here, we're not gonna. And then for a minute I was thinking, is this not the same person who made it look like she does things by the book, so I cannot be excused from not having a one-to-one? And the way she blew it out of proportion, oh my, see how busy we are, I can't believe you are looking forward to a one-to-one. And I felt so little. Apart from that, before then, she had done so many things. And basically, the feeling is, 1 minute I was on top, the next minute I was probably the so daft. I couldn't reason. I couldn't make my own judgment. I doubted things that I have said, in the sense that I know I said this. I am so sure I said this to you. And mind you, all this was done verbally, not on paper. You're not sending emails, so you haven't got any evidence to back you up. So in the end, it just had to take one serious situation. And this manager did, in the presence of everybody, I am the best member of the team. But when she decides to lash at me, when she decides to be nasty, she did it when nobody was watching. She did it quietly. She did it in my ears. She did it when it was just the two of us. Who do you speak to? Who do you talk to? And this is what happens. So gaslighting basically is this form of psychological abuse. And as I said, because it's the highest form of manipulation, it's done so slowly. And it takes place everywhere. For those of you who have joined in, thank you. Thank you, Marie Noel, for joining in. Thank you, Yao Foriwa, for joining in as well. And we are talking about gaslighting. And we're talking about the fact that this gaslighting is done so subtle. So subtle that after a while, you who is a victim get used to it. You tend to accept it because you don't trust your judgment anymore. You don't trust that this thing that you think you are seeing is real. And then you accept it and you develop a coping mechanism of denial. Okay, maybe it's just in my mind. Maybe this is not real. And you minimize it just in order to deal with the stress, because sometimes you even tell yourself that maybe you're being too petty. And in when you're being gaslighted, I mean, not all the time, but most of the times in gaslighting, you could hear statements like, oh, you are too sensitive. Oh, you are too paranoid. Yes, some of us are very sensitive, and maybe some of us are paranoid. But this one I'm talking about is the one you know in your heart of hearts that this you are seeing is real. But this person is making you feel that it is not real. You are being paranoid. You are being too sensitive. It's not what you are seeing. And so in the end, all you do is you accept it. You accept that, yeah, maybe I'm too sensitive. Oh, maybe I'm too petty. Oh, maybe what I'm saying is really not right. Oh, maybe I'm really going crazy. And it begins to feel like you are going crazy. And to be honest, people, when someone is saying something so bad to you and behind closed doors and you can't prove it, worst case scenario, the husband or wife may be this person who has a very, very good reputation. Very good reputation amongst the circles of friends that you have. Very good reputation amongst the community you are in. Very good reputation in the church, in the relationship, as in family setting. Everybody knows that, oh, this person is such a lovely person. Oh, this person is so nice. The type that is so serviceable. In church, serviceable. At work, serviceable to everybody. Somebody just have to pick a phone call. Oh, can you do this for me? And the person is running around. Yet, when you are home with this person is one person who is very, very, very neglectful and verbally mean and just rejects the person they are living with. And in some cases, they don't even talk to you when they live with you at home. Yet when you get out, they are really, really, really nice. And what this does to you is it makes you think that, how can such a person who is so nice, how come someone who is so capable of lying, capable of manipulation, capable of abusing me verbally or psychologically, still be capable of being charming and seductive and lovely? And often that's how the relationship begins, because you and I may agree that if you knew all those signs, you probably wouldn't have gone into the relationship. And for those of us listening to me, if you have any friend, or if you yourself have been in that situation, or you know anybody who has been in a relationship that you being the third party standing back, know that this is not right. This relationship is not on. This person, this friend of mine is being manipulated. What you begin to think is, how can she be so daft? How can she be so stupid to go for such a man? Why can't she see? And it's frustrating, I get it. You can be so frustrated if you have a sister, if you have a brother who has entered into a relationship, the lady or the guy is really manipulating them. And you can see and they cannot see. And sometimes it's very easy for us to judge, to pass judgment. It's very easy for us to think that this person is being daft, this person is being stupid. But no, that is what gaslighting does to you. And you hear things, they say that love is blind. No, it's not. But they didn't see it. Or if they saw it, they were in that position where the person was already in their head, where the person was exerting power, where the person was in control. Remember, most of us, we love to hear somebody tell us how lovely we are doing, how we are, or you mean the world to me, or you are everything to me. You want to hear somebody tell you that. And then the next minute, the person is telling you, if it wasn't for me, I doubt anybody would have married you. In fact, you can't go out there and get any better job. Jobs are hard, so you should be grateful for what you have. These are the things that you hear. They always have something to hold on to. And don't get me wrong, before I keep going on about what gaslighting looks like, I want you to understand that these people are not in themselves very bad people. No. They haven't set out to be mean. They haven't set out to be bad. Yes, sometimes you might find a few. And the reason why I want to establish this point and put this across is, if you and I are in such a relationship, you would know that this person that you are in a relationship with, you really love the person. Yes, the person is maltreating you. Yes, the person is mistreating you. Yes, the person is abusing you or manipulating you or being mean to you verbally. But you still love the person. It is not your fault that you love the person. It is not wrong. If it is a marriage setting, some of us may have kids, may already have kids, or may have a lovely family. And you tend to tell yourself, it will get better. I can't throw everything away because of the kids. So the worst thing you can do is to make the person feel they are stupid for still staying in that relationship. The worst thing you can do is to make the person feel you are so daft, because it takes a lot of courage, trust me, for the person to still put up with the behavior. It takes a lot of strength. It takes a lot of everything, because what the person is doing, the person have got all these things in place. Even before you the third party identifies that the person is manipulating the person. This person may have lived in a denial for so long that this guy loves me so much. This lady loves me so much. She makes me feel like I'm her world. And so it couldn't be that she set out to be mean to me. And so if I sit here today and I tell you that that loved one of yours, who you so loved, is a very mean person, that would be very wrong on my part. That would be very wrong on anybody's part to pass that judgment. The reason being that there's this saying in counseling that they say, and what they say is that hurt people hurt people. Hurting people, they hurt people. So underneath that behavior, underneath the control, underneath all they want to do, or underneath the nastiness, is really probably a profound level of insecurity, a profound level of hurt, a profound level of inferiority complex. And so they relate to you, or they are able to do that to you, to give themselves some power, to give themselves some confidence, to give themselves some strength. So I'm not here. I just wanted to establish this before we go deep into what gaslighting is. So I'm not here to make you think that that person is evil. Because trust me, if you are married to the person, let's take a marriage setting. If you are married to the person, the last thing a woman who is married to a man who is manipulating her wants to do is to get up and leave overnight. Especially when maybe prior to the marriage, everybody saw it, but she didn't. Especially when maybe prior to the marriage, everybody went like, he's not good for you, she's not good for you, he's not good for you, she's not good for you. And the person still went in with their eyes open. That person would rather live in it and be abused. And sometimes, maybe prior to the marriage, nothing was said. But especially in our culture, African culture, we see marriage as, let me borrow the word, a glory of a woman. You need to be married. You need to get married. You get to a certain age, if you haven't married, you are in trouble. And so what this person wants is, I'm growing old. I'm getting old. I really need to settle down. I really need somebody. I also want to get married so that everybody can see I am married. The last thing you want to do is just get up and leave. And that is why I want to establish that what I'm going to say, what is going to precede all this into gaslighting, is not to make the person who is the perpetrator, let me call it, who is gaslighting you, the victim, as a very bad person. But there is an underlying issue. Now, what I want us to know, hello Ahima, welcome, thank you very much. Please, if you are hearing me, if you are enjoying this video, if this is being good for you or good for somebody you know, just invite them on board. Click on the like button and share, and let's just get going. Let's talk about this. And please share your comments if you know of any story relating to gaslighting. Just put it out there. Put your questions there as well, and let us answer them. But one thing I want us to take note when it comes to emotional abusers is that they are very skilled at what they do. Yes, because remember that what I said is there is an underlying issue. And because there is an underlying issue, sometimes this stems from something to do with childhood. And so they develop a defense mechanism. They develop a mechanism, and through that mechanism, it results in controlling somebody. It results in getting into somebody's head. It results in making you feel very, very low, in making you doubt your own judgment. And so they do this very often, and they can be so skilled at convincing you that everything is your fault. Has anyone been in such a relationship? Has anyone had a friend where the friend can never apologize for anything? The friend cannot ever take responsibility for anything. As a matter of fact, if she should ever apologize, it has to start with something like, oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. Oh, no, I think you've taken this out of proportion. Oh, you've really blown this out of proportion. And this person does this all the time. And then she kind of consoles you, or she brings her point across as, you've got this all wrong. And yes, there may be times you've got it all wrong, but I'm talking about persistent issues going on, persistent behavior like this going on. So the person makes you feel, oh, it was all in your mind. Oh, no. Oh, I can't believe you've taken it this way. And then you just finished, after taking that boldness to go to the person and tell the person, you did this to me and I'm hurt. You did this and it hurt me so much. Then you've actually got to sit back and think, am I really that petty? Am I really that sensitive? That is what gaslighters do to you. That is what these perpetrators do. So you question yourself and you no longer trust your own gut instincts. And you know what's more, that abuser might even offer evidence to show that you are wrong. Evidence that will make you question your memory and your senses. And sometimes we become so used to that behavior that it seems clearly unreasonable for you to even want to talk about it or approach the person. And when gaslighting starts in any form of relationship, in any setting, you may not realize you are being gaslighted. You may not realize you are being affected by it. In fact, no matter how intelligent you are, actually, when I was doing my research on gaslighting, I found out that most women who had their stories out there and have been gaslighted, actually very, 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 very prominent people in society. They are intelligent, extremely intelligent. So it's not people who are stupid who are being manipulated emotionally. It's not people you think they are daft who are being manipulated emotionally. Anybody can be manipulated. Anybody can be gaslighted. It doesn't matter how intelligent you are. The brightest person can be manipulated. The most self-aware person can be sucked in, actually. You can be sucked into gaslighting and you wouldn't know. That's how effective it is. There is a story of a frog and a frog in a frying pan. And the story goes to talk about, the analogy of the story is that the heat is turned up slowly. I'm sure some of us may have come across that story. The heat is turned up slowly. So this frog never realizes what is happening to it. And the frog is in the frying pan. And because the heat is slow, he doesn't feel it to jump out of it. The next thing he knows, or it knows, is being burnt. And that is a typical gaslighting situation. It is subtle. When it starts, you wouldn't see it coming. In fact, you might even feel very, 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 very guilty for doubting the person sometimes, because he or she makes you think you've got it all wrong. Oh, and I can't believe you could think this of me. I can't even begin to believe you could think I could do this to you. These are the things you hear gaslighters say. Don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about whenever you hear anybody saying things like that, it means the person is gaslighting you. No. One of the traits, one of the keys to know is the consistency. How often it happens, where it happens all the time that you are the one who is always at fault. Even when you've caught him red-handed, he manages to wiggle himself or herself out and make you apologize for making him feel bad, for doubting him. And you feel guilty for doubting this person that you have come to trust so much. There was this story that I came across, and I found that very, very strange, because what happened was they were in this setting where the man and the woman, I'm not seeing my comments. I'm not sure why I'm not seeing the comments, but in case you've put anything down and I can't see, forgive me. But I'm just trying to get used to this whole life thing. And what everybody thought about these two couples was that they are the most loveliest couple, if there is any word like that, you can ever come across. But apparently, the woman was being abused or manipulated at home, going through a serious form of emotional abuse. Now, this man is a very prominent person in society, very rich, very handsome as well. I mean, and he's the typical man every woman would want to be with. And continuously, this woman kept hearing in her ears how fortunate she is. Pardon me, how fortunate she is to meet a man like that who was so perfect. Continually, she heard this in her ears, as if she had been done a favor by being married to such a man. And the man couldn't stop making her also feel how many women are out there that were chasing me and are still chasing me, and yet I chose you. Every now and then he threw it to her face. There are so many women out there, There are so many women out there, and I chose you. So in the end, it made this woman literally feel that I am fortunate to have you. Now, when she realized she was being gaslighted, when she realized she was being manipulated, it was so hard, so difficult to tell anybody about it. They go for a function and she needs to be careful she doesn't spoil the day for the man. She needs to be careful that even the way she uses her cutlery doesn't disgrace the man. She needs to be careful how she laughs out loud so it's not an embarrassment to the man. There were so many boundaries in the relationship that she needed to acknowledge, and she needed to be cautious of. And when this woman is there, the man just comes and puts his arm around her. And everybody's thinking, oh gosh, these are so lovely couples. They can't get their hands off each other. And guess what? What he literally does is whisper into the woman's ears that look at all these people I've got there. You are the most ugliest woman amongst them. And you know what? He says it in her ears and nobody hears it. But he's got his arm around her. So that was hard to talk about. And these are examples that happen in people's life. These are people's reality. These are things that are happening all the time. So how do you know if what is happening in your relationship is gaslighting? Because if it's so subtle, how am I going to know? Chesca, if you are saying that the fact that anybody is saying I'm sensitive or somebody is saying I'm sensitive doesn't mean I'm being gaslighted. How do I know? Now, let me tell you. If the relationship you are in with anybody in any kind of setting is such that their behavior always makes you feel very small, very, very small. 1 minute, you are the apple of their eye. The next minute, you are a non-entity. The next minute, you're just nothing. If their behavior makes you always feel like doubting yourself, doubting your own judgment, having to count on them to know what reality in life is, and they are in your head, you are being gaslighted. If their behavior has changed your actions and you are at that point where your own actions on a daily basis, your own behavior has to be changed totally to accommodate their behavior, that is gaslighting. And maybe you are in it and you are okay with it. And you are okay because you don't see a way out. You don't see how you're going to get out of it. The only thing is to stay in it. I need you to know that there is always a way out of things. And the effect of this long-term emotional abuse can cause severe emotional trauma, can cause severe emotional and physical trauma. Yes, physical. You might think that you haven't been hit, but in the end, you're going to be sick. You're going to make yourself ill. You're going to break down. You will lose your sense of security. You will lose your sense of trusting in yourself, sense of trusting in your own guts, sense of trusting in everybody around you, except this person who is gaslighting you. It comes with anxiety. And even when you have been able to gather courage to get out, there is this post-traumatic stress disorder you would go through, and that is also another issue altogether. Gaslighting is a form of being brainwashed. And whilst you are being brainwashed slowly, it erodes your sense of self-worth. So then again, what are we going to do? What is the reason? Why is somebody doing this? Why would anybody marry somebody? Why would anybody work with somebody? Why would anybody want to work in a certain, or why would anybody even say they love you and yet treat you that way? And I'm talking of to those of us who have never been gaslighted. These are the questions we tend to think. This is how we question ourselves. This is how we question people who are being gaslighted or who are being manipulated emotionally and they've turned a blind eye. What you ask yourself is, why would anybody love you and do the same and do that to you? But when it comes to emotional abuse, the truth of the matter is people think it's a gray area. Yes, there is a gray area. There is a gray area you can put a finger on. But the thing is, nothing is more damaging. Nothing is more damaging to your self-confidence. Nothing is more damaging to self-esteem than being in an emotionally abusive relationship. And to be fair, sometimes even the perpetrator is not aware that they are gaslighting you. Is not aware that they are manipulating you. That's how it can be. Until they have been able to get you to that position where you are scared of them, you are afraid to speak up. You are afraid to do anything but what they want. That is when they realize what they are doing, but they would have gone so deep into it, probably enjoying the control and don't know how to come out of it. Thank you, Rhoda, for joining. Thank you so much. Good to have you on board. So sometimes this behavior, we become used to it. We get used to it. Because why would you put up with an emotionally abusive relationship? You get used to it. Because nobody is seeing you with a black eye. Nobody is seeing you hurt physically. So you tend to put up with it. And that's because it's been done slowly. And you who is the victim, you don't realize how much you have been brainwashed. But you don't have to put up with it. Now, why are they doing it is the question I want us to discuss at this point in time. Why is anybody manipulating somebody they love emotionally? Why is anybody going to think, I want to control somebody. I want to get into somebody's head to make them feel that they are going crazy or to make them doubt their judgment? Why would anybody do that? If Chesca is being intentional and saying these people who are perpetrators or gaslighting you are not in themselves very bad people, my kids will say buddies. If they are not buddies, why on earth would they still do what they are doing? And some of the reasons why people manipulate people could be the fact that it makes them gain more power. It makes you question the fact that you are questioning your reality and slowly eating away at you. It's giving them a bit of control, not a bit, in fact, a lot of control. They do it, and gaslighting is done, and it's calculated to make you, who is the victim, doubt your own judgment. These are the purpose, and I need you to identify it because of where we will be going with this. We might not be able to talk about everything today, but today I intend giving you a general overview of what gaslighting is, what it may look like. And then in the end, we will come to a solution. How do you get out of it? How do you help somebody who is a perpetrator, who is a gaslighter, I would call it? They call it narcissist. They call them narcissists. But I would call it a gaslighter to make it easy for me. Narcissist, it's quite a mouthful for me. But how do you deal with a person? You love your husband, you love your best friend, but he or she is manipulating you. You love your boyfriend, you love your girlfriend, you love the job you are doing, but you are being manipulated, you are being gaslighted. How do you get out of it? And these are discussions we're going to have in the next few series down the line. But that's the purpose of it. The purpose is to make the gaslighter or the perpetrator gain more control. And it's calculated to make you doubt your own judgment. And it is because it is designed to sow a seed of self-doubt. That is what it is. Because come to think of it, it's only when you are doubting yourself that somebody can get into your head and gain control. If you have a strong conviction of what you are seeing, what you are thinking, what you know, there's no way somebody can get into you. But this is how they get into you. So even before you realize it, that seed of self-doubt has been planted, and your perception of what reality is has been altered. So you've got two things, or more than two things. You've got your self-doubt issues. You've got this one that you're thinking, you're losing your mind, you're going crazy. Because 1 minute you saw this and he says, no, you didn't. And also, you've got the issue of what your reality is being altered. Have you ever seen anybody? Have you ever been in a relationship, or have you ever had a sister, a brother who is in a relationship with a gentleman or with a lady, and you all know this person is so bad for them, you're telling them it's going to destroy you, and this person in the end managed to get themselves in that position where the only person they believe is that person they are in love with? How did you get there? They could be abused physically, even sometimes. They could be abused financially. They could be abused emotionally. And yet they are still in the relationship. Yet they are putting up with it. Yet they are doing all there is to do. And you, the third party, are wondering, how come he's not seeing it? The perception of what reality is to the victim has been altered successfully. It has been altered. And trust me, if you come across anybody in that situation, and the person is close to home, the person is somebody you know, is somebody you love, it's heartbreaking to see them go down that route. It's heartbreaking. And what gaslighting does to people is that it leaves them hopeless. They have nowhere to turn to. Remember, that person who is known as the perpetrator has managed to get the victim to the point where the only person you can trust is me. The only person you can trust is me, the only one who is abusing you. I am the only one you can trust. I have turned you against your family. I have turned you against your sisters. I have put you in that position. I've turned you against your brothers. I've turned you against everybody around you. And so your only hope is me. I am your only hope, the one who is manipulating you, the one who is abusing you. And so this victim is hopeless. This victim is uncertain. This victim is left not knowing what they have to do at any point in time. This victim feels like they've lost themselves, or they are constantly second-guessing themselves. Their self-confidence is damaged. Their self-esteem is damaged. And they have no trust for anybody but the perpetrator. That is what gaslighting do to you. So we've got a few minutes to finish, and thank you all once again for joining in. I wish I could have some of your comments. If you know anybody, if you have a question if you're watching this, but then even after this, there would be a rebroadcast of this. And so if you listen to this and you have any questions to put out there, or you have any topics that you want us to tackle as far as this topic of gaslighting is concerned, let me know. Now, what I want to talk about at the moment, to finish it off, is the character of a narcissist. Now, the character of a narcissist, one, they tell blatant lies. They tell blatant lies. You have caught them red-handed, but they are telling you otherwise. You have caught them red-handed, yet they are telling you otherwise. And they just can't speak the truth. That is a character of a narcissist. That is a character of a gaslighter. The perpetrators, they tell lies. And they tell you that everyone else around you is a liar. Everyone else around you is a liar. So that moment where you know that they are telling an outright lie, yet they are telling you that lie that they are telling you, they're saying it with a straight face and getting you to that point where you're thinking, I know she's lying, but you're still doubting. There is a part of you that's still hoping that she's not lying, or making you feel guilty for thinking she's lying to you, he or she's lying to you. And the question is, why are they so blatant with a lie? Why do you think that person you have caught is lying? You've caught them in the act, caught them doing whatever it is they are doing. They are lying in your face. You heard them. I mean, after going through this, after being there, after experiencing this, to be honest with you, I find it a very dangerous thing, because the truth is, you know this person is lying in your face, and the person is telling you that you are actually in the wrong for doubting them. You're actually in the wrong for thinking they are lying to you. And what they are doing, let me tell you why. What they are doing is they are setting up a precedent. They are laying foundations. They are getting into your head. They are breaking your holds of knowing what reality is, what truth is. So every day you tell them you are lying, every day they will prove you wrong. Hello, Pastor Barbara. Thank you for joining. Every day you tell them, or you identify them lying to you in your face, every day they would prove to you that you are wrong for doubting them. And by so doing, all they are doing is gaining grounds and setting up precedents in your mind, in your life, in your reality, in your truth. And trust me, in the end, you would give in to what they are saying. And once they tell you that huge lie, and you are so not sure of anything anymore, what they have done is they have broken your grounds of being able to fight what is happening, of being able to, because nobody is going to listen to you. Remember, they are making you feel that everybody around you is a liar. Everybody is lying to you. Somebody comes to you and tell you that this person, this husband, this wife, this, blah, 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 that. And even before the person gets to you, this gaslighter has managed to get to you and let you feel this person, probably the person doesn't like him or her, or that friend of yours is really not good for you. You better be careful. Or that friend of yours is really jealous of me, jealous of what you have, jealous of the fact that you have a lovely husband, jealous of the fact that you do things together. And so you need to be careful of that person. But no, what they may be doing is making you get on that platform of being uncertain with anything. You are just not sure of anything. So they keep you unsteady, they keep you off kilter, and that is their goal. They set a precedent. So by telling you that everyone is a liar, who are you going to trust? Nobody else. And that actually isn't a correct information. The only thing is you end up trusting only them. Another characteristic of a gaslighter is that they try to align people against you. Because what they will do is they tell this person something about you. They tell this person something about you. They tell this person something about you. Yet that person is she who is the perpetrator is very close to you. Your very best friend. So everybody around you would believe what they are saying because they are closer to you. They are so close to you, who wouldn't believe what they are saying? And by you identifying or coming to realize that all these people around you think you are crazy, then at some point in time, you'd find yourself thinking, I think I am. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm crazy. Because how is it that everybody is telling me I'm paranoid? How is it that everybody is telling me I'm too sensitive? I think it's true. This is what they do. And so by doing that, they isolate you from everybody, and that gives them the power. When they isolate you, it gives them the power to control you. When they isolate you, because they've been able to feed everybody with things that may look like iota of truth, they isolate you. Now, the third thing I'll talk about with gaslighters, which I have already mentioned earlier on, is about throwing positive reinforcements to confuse you. That's all there is. They want to get you confused. So see how the pattern is. The whole idea is not just to make you emotionally manipulated, to make you, I don't know what word to use, or to make you cry or depressed. No, they want to make you uncertain. Yes, thank you, Pastor Barbara. Living in a perceived reality. In fact, Pastor Barbara, can you tell me, living in a perceived reality, would you say is the person who is being gaslighted, who is living in a perceived reality, or the perpetrator who is living in a perceived reality? But that is the exact word. So this person perceives that this is the reality, this is the truth, and cannot look anywhere else. Thank you so much for that contribution. That is so true. Perceived reality is what you live in. And because you live in perceived reality, it looks like, why is everybody saying this and you are not seeing it? Why is everybody seeing what the man is like? Why is everybody seeing what the woman is like? Why is everybody saying that this friend of yours is manipulating you emotionally and you can't see? Because they've got you to that point where you live in a perceived reality. And you know what? They know that kind of confusion, they know the confusion would weaken you. So you see, from where we started, they got you to believing everything. Well, they started by getting you to doubt your instincts, doubt your guts, doubt your suspicions, doubt all that you are perceiving, into thinking that you are really what they are saying you are, and then buying into their reality. And then you are at that point where you are so confused. Now, what confusion does to anybody is that it weakens you. It destroys you. I mean, in my language, we would have said, a big boo-boo or something. Like, the very grounds you are standing on will be broken. The foundation you are standing on will be broken. And that is where people don't have the strength anymore to make judgments for themselves. They know. And you know what is funny about gaslighting, or I wouldn't even call it funny, but interesting about perpetrators? Not all the perpetrators come across as controlling. Some of them come across as victims. They come across as victims where they feel so sorry for themselves. I can't believe you thought this of me. I can't believe you couldn't trust me. And they could cry. If it's a relationship, if it's a marriage, if it's any courtship or a dating, whatever you call it, and you go like, oh, I'm going to leave you. I can't put up with this again. I can't deal with this again. Guess what? The person can cry. Some can threaten, I'm going to kill myself. What can I do without you? You know, I'm nothing without you. You are the one who makes me this. How am I going to live if you leave me? And at that point in time, you feel you are needed. You feel you are necessary. You feel what role you are occupying is good. I can still get through it. I can still get through. In fact, you feel sorry for them. And you begin to think, oh, maybe there is an issue. Maybe I'm not patient after all. Maybe I'm not being tolerant. Maybe I'm not being sensitive to how they feel. Yes, that's what happens. And so they are victims instead of you. And the minute that stage of being a victim is over, that is when they choose to just launch at you. Verbal abuse, making you feel little, getting into your head, making you doubt your own judgment. So on a Monday, you are the most needed thing in their lives. It lasts 2 days, 3 days, and then you are the one who is being emotionally abused. You are the one who is having to wonder, I saw you do this. You actually told me you were going to do this. You actually said you were going to say this. And maybe they are going out of something, and all of a sudden, if it's that kind of relationship, you're already doubting that they're going out with somebody, or they are cheating on you, or they are doing something fishy, and you are being suspicious. And then 1 minute he says, oh, I told you I was going to this place. He said, no, you didn't. You keep doing this. You keep walking out. You keep crushing our plans. You keep doing, oh, I told you. You were actually standing here when I said this. And they could tell you what you said. And that's what I said earlier on in the video. They could give you evidence. But you know it's not true. And trust me, people, this is not funny. When you find yourself in that situation, it is not funny at all. Because what's going to happen is, in the end, no matter what, one day you will be in that position, you would believe what they have said. The last characteristics I would share with us with gaslight, on what these perpetrators or narcissists or gaslighters do, or the traits, let me put it, is that they use what is near and dear to you as the ammunition. They use what is near to you and dear to you as ammunition. Maybe your greatest fear in life is for anybody to know you are walking out on that relationship. Or you have a great need to be accepted. And 1 minute they are threatening you. I'm gonna get out. Maybe your greatest fear, because you occupy a position somewhere in church, at the workplace, in society, your greatest fear is for anybody to know what goes on in your life. And then the next minute they are threatening to let somebody know what is going on. So the last thing you want to do is to offend them. The last thing, maybe you have told them all your secret. You've told that friend every secret you have, which you would not have wanted anyone out there to know. And just because of that, you are so scared. And every time something happens, they throw it in your face. Every time, maybe you have made a big mistake. Nobody knows, but they know. And every time something happens, they throw it in your face. Every time something happens, they throw it in your face. There are so many things I can tell you about gaslighting. What it looks like. What the characteristics of gaslighting is. What the people gaslighting you do. But we have an hour, and I think I don't want to take, we've actually gone beyond an hour, and I don't want to take too much of your time. So thank you all so much. Thank you all for joining in. Thank you, Amali. Thank you so much for joining on board. Thank you, Michael. Vanessa, oh, thank you so much. And thank you, Pastor Barbara. Thank you, Queen Gifty. Thank you, Colin. It's been ages. Thank you all. I really appreciate the time you've given me. Spread the word, share this video. There is somebody out there who is suffering quietly. There is somebody who is being manipulated. There is somebody who is going through a lot. Thank you, Ekuya for joining. Auntie Winnie, God bless you. There are so many things happening. And you know what is funny? When you are a lady, or what is interesting, you know, ladies make up. And so it's very easy for us to cover up the pain. It's very easy for us to cover up what we are going through. And when the person is a man, men feel they have a need to be macho. They have a need to not show the world that they are being defeated or they are victims. And so they want to cover up. So there are so many people out there who have so many reasons not to be able to deal with gaslighting. Not to even be able to admit and accept that this is going on in a relationship they are in. This is going on in a setting they find themselves in. This is going on between a brother, a sister. This is going on between even children sometimes gaslight their parents. And so are the parents as well. And next week, same time, we are going to meet again. I have taken too much of your time, and I just want you to all to know that I really appreciate your time. But share this video, let it get out there. Let people be intentional in identifying what is going on in their lives. Let people be intentional in knowing that they are not losing their minds. Their reality is a reality. It is real. Let somebody out there not lose hope, because there is a way out. And next week, we're going to talk about more signs of gaslighting, more characteristics of gaslighting. In the next few weeks, we're still going to talk about how gaslighting looks like in marriage setting, how gaslighting looks like in friendship relationship setting, how gaslighting looks like in the work setting, how gaslighting looks like in the church setting. It's everywhere. Anybody can be manipulated. Anybody can be gaslighted. And as we talk about that, we're going to talk about what can we do. I'm sure somebody is listening to me and can identify this. You probably may not be able to wait till then because it's eating you up to know the solution. But one most important solution, I can tell you until we get to that day where we deal with how to resolve it, is that you need to find somebody to speak to. You really need to speak up. I know it can be difficult because who do you trust? That's a different thing. Is the person even going to believe what you are saying? Is the person also going to add to your doubt? Is the person going to judge you and make you feel that, have you been so daft living in this situation? How did you not see it? Now that is a fear you're entertaining, but it doesn't mean that that's real. It doesn't mean that could happen. The other thing that could be that is that you've probably given in and given up, but there is a way out. And the first way out is to speak to somebody. You need to speak to somebody. Maybe you have spoken to somebody in the past, but the person couldn't be of much help. What is our churches doing about gaslighting? What happens when your husband, when your wife is manipulating you emotionally? What do you do? The Bible is talking about divorce. God is against divorce. So what do? Do you stay in till you have a heart attack? We will discuss all that and we'll find a way out. Thank you so much for joining. I love you all and thank you for your time. Time is precious and I want you to know that I appreciate the time. However long you stayed on, send me your questions and let me know what you want us to talk about immediately. I have probably hit on almost everything today because it's the first video and I kind of wanted to give us a general overview. But from the next few weeks, we're going to streamline down on specific areas of gaslighting so we can focus on, so we can have effective discussion. I want you to tell me what you think. I want you to tell me what you know. I want you to tell me the way forward if you know it. I want to tell you to tell me if you have been through it or if you know anybody and how you get out of it. Thank you so much. I love you all. And we'll be back same time next week, next Sunday on the at the same time, 5 p.m. UK time. Thank you for your time and I love you. Bye.
Be intentional about everything.